You misspelt our name, which suggests to us this assignment was handed to you by a white supervisor who wanted you to do the hit piece. There are many ways to respond to accusations of spreading misinformation. African Stream's approach was certainly eye-catching. In June 2024, the American journalist Francis Marquise emailed Africa Stream to get their response to the charge they share misinformation that hurts black communities. African Stream published a long open letter on X, which felt like it was aimed more at their followers than Marquise. Citing Malcolm X, the group stated, "African Stream has been anticipating the day when self-appointed media watchdogs would come for us." They published a big picture of Marquise next to the letter. NBC extracted the most professional parts of the letter and published them in their article about misinformation campaigns targeting the black community in America. It seemed like the fight had ended in a draw, but the battle was only just beginning. By September, African Stream was under fire from another American news organization. Voice of America fact-checked claims by African Stream that American presidents, whether Republican or Democrat, always rain down bombs on Somalia. Worried by the way Marquise had been publicly targeted by African Stream, the journalist who wrote the article changed her name after it was published. But it was too late. African Stream had screenshots from before it had been changed. The Kenyan journalist Purity Mwambia was outed as the traitor in another long letter by African Stream. By this point, it was clear to those who disliked African Stream that any criticism would simply be turned into an exciting media moment. To come under attack like that, African Stream must be saying something worth hearing, right? And then things escalated in a direction which African Stream had not predicted. Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, publicly accused African Stream of being funded by Russia. Almost immediately, African Stream's 400,000 follower YouTube account was shut down, so too were their Facebook and Instagram pages. On X, they found themselves demonetized. African Stream was engaged in a fistfight. Then someone pulled out a gun. The deplatforming left many people fired up. Blinken did not feel inclined to provide any evidence of a Russian connection, and no one asked him for it. So what proof is there that African Stream was funded by Russia? Was it nothing more than Kremlin propaganda? And who were the people behind the brand? Subscribe. Ahmed Kaballo was a revolutionary just like his father. Sidgi Kaballo had done his masters in Khartoum in the 1980s before leaving Sudan for further study. Eventually he ended up in Manchester, England, where he taught part-time at local universities and helped Sudanese refugees settle in. But Sidgi Kaballo was also a firm believer in political action, and the fate of Sudan weighed on his heart. Despite being granted asylum in the UK, he returned to Sudan in 2013 to lead a Communist Party meeting. He was arrested by the government, but later released. In 2018, he was back in Sudan leading a protest over the price of bread. This time, he was detained for much longer. British politicians became worried for his safety. Boris Johnson petitioned the Sudanese government, and in April that year, Sidgi was finally set free. His son, Ahmed Kaballo, had quite a role model. But Ahmed's vision went far beyond Sudan. After doing a master's in international relations, he got a job working with the British politician, George Galloway. This skyrocketed Ahmed into a world of media and politics. At the time, the left-wing Galloway was a member of Parliament in London and a popular presenter on Russia Today. But in 2016, Galloway's term as MP ended, and Ahmed got a new job, working for the English-language Iranian media group Press TV. He started getting international assignments, taking him to Venezuela and Nicaragua. At the same time, he wrote articles for the Islamic Human Rights Commission. Then, after 7 years in the role, he launched an entirely new project. In 2022, he founded African Stream, based in Kenya, Nairobi, a Pan-African digital media organization. So that's where African Stream's CEO comes from, a heady mix of international relations, human rights, Iran, Russia, communism, revolutionary politics, and journalism. But what about African Stream's content? African Stream wasn't afraid to have strong opinions. On Israel-Palestine, they were extremely critical of Israel. On X, they published so much on the issue, you might be left wondering if there weren't some more Africa-centric stories that needed highlighting. But African Stream also had a strong position on the situation in Eastern DRC. Whilst a lot of English-language accounts support Rwanda, African Stream stood out as one of the few Anglophone platforms sympathetic to DRC. At times, this translated into moments of high-quality journalism, for example, putting some hard-hitting questions to the popular thinker PLO Lumumba about his silence on the matter. The Alliance of Sahel States also attracted a lot of coverage, and African Stream was very positive about the bloc and their leaders. They were opposing the imperialist powers, including America. Now, a lot of African Stream's content focused specifically on America. Two favourite topics were the untrustworthiness of all American presidents, and secondly, the terrible history of racism in the USA. It was this last area of focus which drew African Stream into its current battle. In early 2024, Onyx Impact, an organisation which monitors information flows in the Black American community, published a study which identified African Stream as one of 4 major sources of misinformation. Onyx is run by a former BlackRock and Morgan Stanley employee, and the report was quickly picked up by NBC, who turned it into a news story. Soon, Francis Marquise was emailing African Stream for comment, and the rest is history. So, was it propaganda? Well, African Stream published a lot on YouTube, but was not massively successful there. They had 400,000 followers, but average views varied from 1,000 to tens of thousands. Their most watched video was a comedy skit showing how unfair French deals have been in Niger. They have also been critical of Russia in the past, condemning a Russian politician who made a racist remark. They have occasionally said a few positive things about Russia, specifically regarding Kenya, but what's striking is how little Russia was mentioned in their content. On African Stream's X account, you were more likely to find a post about China in Africa. So, how does all of this apply to African Stream? Well, African Stream's US-focused content could certainly be interpreted as demoralizing. They openly stated that regardless of what parties offer, neither Republicans or Democrats would help the black community. But outside America, in Africa, African Stream was actually doing the reverse. Their content aimed to create a sense of stability around the Alliance of Sahel States. It's easy to see how African Stream could serve Russian interests in the USA, but African Stream was more than this. It was a different voice in an African media marketplace crowded out by America, Britain, and France. Perhaps the real losers of this story are Africans who lack the digital power to decide which voices they get to hear.